7Artisans have consistently been releasing high quality lenses for Sony cameras, and this lens that I have to show you today is no different. This is the 24mm f1.8 autofocus lens for Sony cameras. This is the cheapest 24mm f1.8 prime that you can buy, coming in at just £299. When you first get this lens out of the box, you will notice that it is incredibly well made, and especially when you consider that price point. It's a full metal lens from the body to the mount and weighs 424 grams. It's not a heavy lens, but it's not particularly light either if you want a small travel lens. That brings me on to the size. So on my Sony A7IV, it looks quite large, and compared to the 55mm Zeiss lens, you can see there's a pretty big difference in size here. The aperture ring on the lens is declicked, so you can easily change the aperture on the fly quickly and quietly, and the focus ring has just the right amount of resistance for my liking. So manual focusing feels concise and controlled, even though the lens is focused by wire. Like the 50mm and the 85mm from 7Artisans, we do get an AF/MF switch, so you can switch between autofocus and manual focus. On the 50mm, this was a bit problematic as the switch would often fall out of place and go into autofocus or manual focus without you even realizing. But on this lens, the 24mm, it's absolutely fine, and this has never been an issue during my tests. What's nice is that 7Artisans seem to be taking feedback on board and actually improving on each lens as they're released. There's also a programmable function button, which is a really nice touch. You can set this to lock focus or assign it to another camera function, and it's surprisingly handy during shoots if you like to use this feature. The lens does come with a lens hood, but it's a little bit tricky to get on the lens and it does take a bit of effort, but this isn't a deal breaker. The one big disappointment with this lens is the lack of weather sealing. I like to have all of my lenses with weather sealing just to give me that peace of mind that I'm not going to get sand on my sensor or some other element entering my camera. For those of you who want a 24mm lens and you need weather sealing, then this lens obviously isn't going to be a good option. But if you're someone that shoots primarily indoors or you're not going to be in harsh conditions, then I still think this is a great lens to consider, especially when you see the image quality. So when it comes to image quality, the images produced from this lens are fantastic. Now it's sharp from pretty much edge to edge, particularly once you start shooting at f4 and above. Even wide open at f1.8, the lens produces incredibly sharp images, especially in the center, which isn't something you expect at this price point, but these lenses from 7Artisans just keep getting better and better. I know I said no brick walls, but if you look at this brick wall from the Battersea Power Station in London, look how sharp the bricks are from edge to edge. This is incredible for a lens of this price point. So details in architecture and landscapes come out sharp and crisp, and there's plenty of contrast even when you're shooting directly into the sun, as you can see from this image here. Before we get further into this video, I want to give a quick shout out to the channel sponsor DXO.com. If you're wondering what photo editing software I've been using throughout this video, this is DXO's Photolab 9, one of the most powerful raw photo editors on the market. When it comes to noise reduction, sharpness improvements, and local adjustments, there is no other software like DXO Photolab. The best thing about this software is that there are no monthly subscriptions. You pay once and you can use this software for life. If you do want to check this out, be sure to use the code JACK15 to get 15% off. If you like to take portraits with a wide angle, then you'll be happy to know that the f1.8 gives plenty of background separation when you are taking portraits, and you get that nice sort of cinematic feel. A lot of films nowadays are using wide angle lenses. This is a cinematic choice, I guess, for a lot of filmmakers. So this is becoming quite a bit of a trend at the minute to use these wide angle lenses, and I can see why, because you can capture this fantastic environment as well as a portrait, and it just looks really interesting. So one other drawback I found with this lens is the minimum focus distance. So it's around 32 centimeters, which is quite far from whatever it is you want to capture. So if you want to take pictures of something that's relatively small, or details for example, you'll find that you need to be quite far back from your subject to actually get the image in focus. I don't think this is a big issue with the lens, but it's something to consider, especially as it is a wide angle. I did notice a little bit of chromatic aberration and fringing though around some objects, but this is very easy to remove in most editing software. What about if you want this lens for video? Well, as you can see from this test up on the screen, it handles autofocus with the A7IV incredibly well, and it never really loses me. So I'm able to dip in and out of frame, move around, and the eye autofocus is spot on. Pretty incredible from a third-party lens, and especially a lens of this price point. So if you're looking to use this for YouTube or any kind of casual content, then I think this will be a perfect lens. I'd even be happy to use this on professional shoots, to be honest, given how good the autofocus is paired with my A7 IV. So if you're a hybrid shooter that needs a lens for photo and video, this is definitely one to consider. So quite honestly, I'm not sure there's much else to say about this lens. You've seen the sample images, you've seen some video. This is a fantastic little lens for the price. $299. I mean, that is incredible. You don't get many lenses for that price. Only real issue is that weather sealing or lack of weather sealing that I would love to see on this lens. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give a like. It really helps out my channel. If you have any comments or questions about the lens, drop them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you want to see more from me, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon as well, and you'll be notified when I upload another video, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.